first of all, I just wanted to get your insights of your or like Binance stand, sort of like, what's your view of DeFi this space in general?
Sure. I think we think that DeFi is a very interesting innovation, and it's already have some proof in the market where there's adoption. So I think the basic concept of being able to do lendings and offering liquidity pools and getting an interest rate for your lending coins is a really solid concept, and also automated market makers to generate more interest for the staked users, and which also provides a better price discovery mechanism on the blockchain. I think all of this are really good. So I think we are very much pro decentralized finance. And to this end, we support other projects by listing their coins on Binance.com. We also launched Binance Smart Chain, which is a decentralized offering, which is a decentralized blockchain, which is Ethereum compatible. And we're hoping that other projects can develop on that as well. And we have a $100 million grant fund to fund the ecosystem. And on the CeFi side, we're actually also incorporating a lot of the concepts from DeFi. So we allow users to who don't want to hold their own private keys to be able to stake their coins on the CeFi exchange platform. And they can also get high interest rates. And we use those coins in a similar way to provide liquidity. So on the other side, the traders get better prices, etc. And the trading fees goes to the staked coins. So we're copying some of those concepts onto CeFi. So we are very much pro this innovation. But having said all that, I do think there's quite a bit of bubble in the space now. So I think a lot of the projects will fail. And I think the high APY rebates, like 100%, 1,000%, those things are not going to last. So I do want to encourage users to exercise caution when chasing high yields. Those also have very high risks. But I think fundamentally, after this thing settles, I think the core concepts and the core projects of DeFi will stay.
So a few follow-up on that. So you mentioned that there are a lot of risks on DeFi. So in your view, like what are some of the hurdles that's kind of stopping or the growth of DeFi space?
Okay, I think one of the key risks that we have not seen so much is the smart contract risk. Smart contracts are not bulletproof, right? They could have security issues, etc. We've seen many smart contracts running for like a year or longer and then having a security issue. Like there was a DAO that's on Ethereum that caused Ethereum to fork. There was a big hack. And so I think we'll continue to see some of those happening. And then there's many of the DeFi projects have anonymous founders, so you don't really know who the team is. So it's kind of hard to judge how committed the team are. And smart contracts, a lot of DeFi trading automated market makers are just a smart contract. So it's quite easy to copy. So I think there will be a very high amount of copy and paste and copycats and competition. And so I think all of those factors do play in for risks. And then there's the high price volatility. So everyone's trying to compete to give a higher yield by issuing a coin and then having the coin with very limited circulating supply. So they release a very small portion upfront. And with a small limited supply, the price gets jacked up. And then they look like there's a big market cap. But when the majority of the funds gets released, those prices tend to not to be able to stay. So I think all of those are risks. And I think there's also a fundamental thing that's blocking users to DeFi to grow more, which is the ease of use of wallets. So today, for most average people, it's quite difficult for them to hold crypto on their own securely. So if you hold it on your own, if you hold it either even in a hardware wallet, you could lose coins. The hardware wallet could break. You could lose the device. Do you have secure backups? If something happens to one person, how are the kids going to get it, etc. So there's a lot of those issues that's not solved from a wallet level. So I think all of those things are potentially blocking the mass adoption of decentralized finance. So if you look at DeFi, the amount of funds locked on DeFi is quite high, but the amount of users is still much, much smaller than CeFi. So like most even the largest ones, Uniswap probably have a couple thousand users they active. The other ones only have hundreds of users, so they're not really that big, even though the amount of funds locked are quite large. So I think from a user adoption point of view, DeFi is still a small niche, even right now. So hopefully we can solve those problems and make this industry bigger.
I see. So then you mentioned about you and also like Binance in general, you do see like the potentials of DeFi. Could you specify like other than I guess like for users, you know, they're going to DeFi because of high returns and things like that. Is there any other things you're seeing in terms of potentials?
I think given now people are more used to having a smart contract to run DeFi applications, so basically dApps, I think we'll see more and more other innovative solutions as well. So I think this is a very good thing. I think people are already thinking about better ways to do automated market makers, and people are thinking about different ways to do loans without market makers, without trading, just people who stake a coin, but to loan some other coin to do something else. So we're seeing a lot of those different use cases already, which I think is a really, really positive development. So I hope one day DEXs will be bigger than centralized exchanges. I think one day it will happen. It's just a matter of time. So we want to keep investing and innovating in this space together with the community.
I see. So then you mentioned like the risks you mentioned about decentralized finance. I think one of the things that was interesting is like they are like they do like branding as themselves as decentralized, and that's also I think that's part reason that why there are so many risks come to with it. And also I guess the question is also as a centralized exchange, like what's your stand? Isn't supporting DeFi or DEX kind of eating up your own business?
Okay, I think supporting DeFi does not really, right now, DeFi is not really eating into the CeFi business. We see that, for example, they trade much smaller, number one, they trade stable coins, where the trading volume has historically been low on CeFi anyway. It's not like USDT versus Bitcoin. The CeFi automated the DeFi automated market makers don't work well with assets that could diverge. So they work better with assets that are price correlated. So and then also this DeFi trades a lot of smaller coins. So coins that we don't really want to list on CeFi, especially on Binance, given the amount of risk they involve. But on DeFi, most of the users are advanced users, so you take care of your own risk, and there's nobody to blame. So I think right now DeFi and CeFi mostly serve different spaces. So there is a little bit of overlap, but I don't think it's that large. I think the overlap will increase over time. So, but at the same time, everything changes in the world. We're always evolving. So we don't view like our mission is not to build a CeFi exchange. That's not our ultimate goal. Right now, it's one of our larger businesses that supports our growth. But over the long term, we want to push decentralization. So we want to push decentralized finance, etc. So we actually want to build more applications in those realms. So it's just right now, if you look at the numbers, overwhelmingly more users choose CeFi. So we don't view CeFi as our mission, as our goal, as our end goal. So so we don't really view it as competition. We're pretty happy if the new innovation fully disrupts CeFi, and then we're pretty happy to pivot our business and move forward.
I see. So now since you mentioned about both Binance both are doing the centralized exchange and also running your decentralized platform, and so that's I guess it's a Binance Smart Chain. So maybe can you tell us a little bit more about what's the latest progress on Binance Smart Chain?
Yeah, so Binance Smart Chain is if 100% Ethereum virtual machine compatible smart chain. So this allows Ethereum Solidity developers to easily migrate to a blockchain that's faster and cheaper. So Ethereum's main issue right now is the congestion and the high gas fees. It costs like anywhere from like $2 to $20 to send a transaction. Given those costs, the amount of transactions will be limited. We believe that there's a very large amount of clipped demand. So there's a lot of demand that's not satisfied. I think there could be a lot of more transactions that can be facilitated. So so Binance Smart Chain is one of the high capacity chains, and we released it sort of officially at the beginning of the month or so, and we have actually seen very fast growth. So on like a couple of days after release, it actually reached 40% of transaction volume compared to Ethereum. Right now, I think it's kind of stabilized around 20%-ish. So we believe that by offering a fully compatible and low cost chain, other developers will migrate and users will want to pay lower fees per transaction. So Binance Smart Chain, I think fulfills that, and we already seen a lot of new community projects building on top of it. There's a lot of projects I don't even know who they are, like Burger, Pancake, and they're actually slowly getting traction now. So hopefully we can provide an alternative venue or blockchain for decentralized developers to build their own dApps.
I see. Well, because you mentioned about Ethereum, I sort of compare Smart Chain, Binance Smart Chain with Ethereum. I'm curious, just based on what I just heard, I feel like what you're saying is the market is actually kind of big. So you can have both Ethereum and the Binance Smart Chain, but also you being like, comparing your Smart Chain with Ethereum. So I was wondering, like, what's your sort of vision for this? Are you trying to replace Ethereum at some point, or what you're seeing is maybe has like, I don't know, some sort of progress just in terms of taking that market share?
So yeah, I mean, we never view us taking a market share or like competing with Ethereum. We just view that Ethereum probably is only serving 10% of the demand in the market. So that so if Ethereum was faster and cheaper, there's probably 10x more volume on the blockchains. So we just thought, look, we can do a chain that's faster and cheaper. So Binance Smart Chain is a independent blockchain, but it's one of the two chains that support BNB. So we also have another chain called Binance Chain, which is a native DEX, no smart contract capabilities, but very fast as well, even faster than Binance Smart Chain. So we view that as like just two different choices for users. So we're not trying to be the Ethereum killer. I think Ethereum has a large community, and it has a very loyal community as well. I think that part will not change anytime soon. I don't foresee we will kill Ethereum, but we want to facilitate the users who wants to do cheaper transactions. I think those demand, that's probably 90% more that's probably 9x more of those users than what we currently see on Ethereum.
I see. So I guess another follow-up question with that is just they're a little bit, I think I read a little bit criticism towards Binance Smart Chain. I think it's fair to make their criticism because it is kind of under the name of Binance, which is a centralized exchange, that some people claim Binance Smart Chain is not as decentralized as they say it is. So, what's your defense on this?
Okay, I think there's 2 points. I think Binance, the word Binance is a brand. So that's Binance.com, which is the centralized exchange. And then there's Binance Coin, there's a whole Binance ecosystem, there's a Binance USD, which is not issued by us. There's a lot of different stuff that has the Binance name on it. So there's a branding word, Binance, the word itself is a brand. So and we do lend it out in many different places. And there is a strong association with Binance.com that we want to be one of the community members and promoting it. So that's one area of confusion. Whereas yes, Binance started as a centralized Binance.com started as a centralized exchange, and we're one of the biggest. And but the Binance name is used in many different places. There's Binance UK, Binance Korea, Binance Singapore. There's a lot of decentralized community projects that we support as well. So there's a branding aspect of it. With Binance Smart Chain is more centralized than Ethereum. So there's less nodes. So it's more of a proof of authority, a proof of stake. Hold on. Actually, my Siri just turned on. But it is. So there's 21 nodes on Binance Smart Chain. It is ran. Most of the nodes is run by the community. So there's different clubs. Binance BNB 48 is one of the sort of Binance fan clubs. That's completely independent from Binance, and they ran like probably one or more nodes now. I actually don't really know. But there's a trade-off between more decentralization versus speed. So we thought that 21 nodes ran by the community is probably enough, and the trade-off is speed. So there are people who are really more into more decentralization. They will probably stick with Ethereum, but we believe the majority of users will care more about gas fees, cost, and speed. So yes, I think the accusation or the argument of Binance Smart Chain is more centralized than Ethereum is valid. We're not trying to debate that. So, but at the same time, it is a community-run blockchain. It is a community-driven project. So we think that it will serve a lot of users' needs.